AI tough for telling my sobbing son to man up after his brother started dating his ex? Hi everyone, I'm Lisa. I'm 38, married to Mark for 15 years, and mom to 2 teenage boys, Jake, 17, and Ryan, 16. I never thought I'd be sharing something this personal, but here we are, and honestly, my whole family is falling apart over this. Let me explain what happened and how everything went so wrong. About 3 weeks ago, my younger son Ryan came home absolutely devastated. His girlfriend, Emma, they'd been together for 6 months, had just broken up with him. And before he even had time to process it, we all found out she was already seeing someone else, his older brother, Jake. Now, I want to believe I don't play favorites with my boys. Jake has always been the easier one. Good grades, helps around the house without being asked. Ryan's more sensitive, wears his heart on his sleeve. He takes after his dad that way. When Ryan came to me sobbing about the breakup, I told him that while I understood he was hurting, Emma had every right to date whoever she wanted. I said Jake didn't do anything wrong by being with her, and that he needed to accept it and move on. Well, Ryan completely lost it. Said I always make excuses for Jake, that I don't care about his feelings. He stormed out and has barely spoken to me since. What I didn't expect was my husband Mark's reaction. He's furious with me. Says I handled this completely wrong, that I should have at least acknowledged how messed up the situation was for Ryan. We had our biggest fight ever. He actually slept on the couch for the first time in our marriage. He thinks I'm being cold and dismissive of Ryan's feelings, but I just thought I was being realistic about how relationships work. Update number 1. Things spiraled. Week 1. After my first post, Ryan completely shut down. He stopped coming home after school, started skipping meals, and when he did talk to me, it was just one-word answers. Meanwhile, Jake and Emma were, well, happy, holding hands at dinner, laughing together, right in front of Ryan. I told Jake to tone it down, but he just said, "What am I supposed to pretend I'm miserable?" Then Mark and I got into our biggest fight ever. He said I was letting Ryan drown while I played cool mom to Jake. He even threatened to take Ryan to stay at his parents' house for a while. The worst part, Ryan overheard and looked relieved at the idea. That's when I realized I didn't just mess up, I broke something. Update number 2, rock bottom, week 3. Things got worse. Ryan moved out to his grandparents' house, and Jake, well, he started resenting me for making him feel guilty about being happy. Emma stopped coming over because, quote, the vibes were too tense. My husband was barely speaking to me, and family dinners were just silence. The wake-up call, Ryan's school counselor called, his grades had plummeted, and he'd been getting into fights. When I finally went to see him, he said something that wrecked me. "You always act like Jake's feelings matter more. Even now, you're only here because someone told you to be." I couldn't even argue, because part of me knew he was right. Update. The 3, slow healing, week 6. Here's where we are now. Ryan agreed to come home after I promised, no, begged for family therapy. Jake's still dating Emma, but they keep it low-key around Ryan. Mark and I are talking again, but there's a new distance between us. Like he's waiting to see if I'll really change. The hardest part? The damage is still there. Ryan doesn't trust me. Jake thinks I ruined his relationship, and I'm just tired. But for the first time, I'm not pretending I did the right thing. I'm listening, I'm apologizing, and I'm realizing that not taking sides was just a coward's way of picking one. So, am I still Tia? Yeah, probably, but at least now I'm trying not to be.